So I'm just here having a snack, almonds, dark chocolate, and reading a Gallup poll. And in this Gallup poll, basically it's reporting that the hardest thing for remote workers is feeling disconnected. Yeah, common sense, although common sense does not always lead to common action. So why is it that some leaders and their remote teams are creating that environment of connection? And why is it that some aren't? Well, if we look in the emotional intelligence space, we can kind of bring it all the way back to, does the leader feel connected? Is the leader well? Because if the leader isn't, it's going to be hard for them to foster a community of connection. So the first thing we do is we start there. And then if we think, well, what's the common action then? What are the things that leaders who are creating these environments, what are they doing right now that other leaders aren't doing right now? So we have to look now at, so what's different? What's different in our remote workplaces that doesn't exist in the shoulder-to-shoulder workplaces? And it's the in-betweens. It's the time in between meetings. It's the time getting coffee. It's the time going to the bathroom. It's the in between when I am in something and not in something, where I get to connect with other people and talk about the meeting we were just in, talk about a communication, talk about the hockey game, talk about what my kids are doing, talk about what I'm doing, talk about where we're going for vacation. That is the stuff we're missing in remote meetings. Virtual spaces. So what do we do about it? What can we do now? Here's a couple of things we can do now. First thing is, every remote virtual meeting that we are having, we need time at the beginning to connect. Build it into the agenda. If you have more than 10 people, it's going to take way too long. So use the breakout function. Send people to groups of smaller sizes and give them time to simply catch up, connect. What's going on? What ends up happening when we come back from connection is we are grounded. When we feel connected, we're grounded in our community and we listen so much better and we're way more creative. The next thing we can start doing is we have to intentionally create the in-between times. And this comes super easy with texts. Also, if we have like an internal Slack channel or if we're using Teams and we've got conversations, is pinging someone and saying coffee, lunch, where we get to virtually join each other for a coffee or lunch. Hey, you got 2 minutes after this meeting, and we catch up 2 minutes after the meeting. Hey, you got 5 minutes before we go into this meeting, and we catch up before that meeting. A leader who does this consistently with their team creates the cultural environment of how we connect with each other consistently throughout the week. We don't need hour-long one-on-one meetings. Touch points like this, well, let me go back to that. Touch points like this, super important for connection. We may also need the hour-long one-on-one meetings to go over like goals and projects and deadlines. Yes, we may also need those. Those are not our connection points. These touch points are our connection points. A leader who creates that is leading by example, has a team who then does that with each other. And this cycles into a culture of connection in our organizations. Some tips that you could take advantage of straight away.